This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts. Welcome to Body Count, the history podcast that covers death, destruction, genocide, and all of history's little miracles. Now your hosts, Jessica Burning Manor and Bethany the Skellington Skelton.
Jingle balls, jingle all the way. All right, you stocking stuffers. Today's support for Body Count Big Heads Media comes from Manscaped.com, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. You heard me right, Manscaped. Precision tools for your family jewels. Oh, what fun it is to ride a precision Manscaped sleigh. Gentlemen, take it from me. When you're relaxing, maybe hitting the eggnog this Christmas season, that special someone doesn't want to look for your gift under an untrimmed tree. Unruly holly bushes are a thing of the past. Look no further than Manscaped's Lawnmower 2.0 with proprietary advanced skin-safe technology. This trimmer won't nick or snag your chestnuts. Nothing makes under the mistletoe more awkward than using your face trimmer downtown. Don't forget to grab Manscaped's Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing, moisturizing deodorant for your chestnuts. Means cozying up near the open fire with complete confidence. You'll be ready to sit in any lap this season. Give yourself, your friends, your family, or that special someone in your life the perfect package this holiday season. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BIGHEADS, that's all caps, BIGHEADS at manscaped.com. Ladies, 'tis the season to stop hinting he'd trim the tree and get proactive. Treat both of you with a gift that keeps on giving the whole year round at manscaped.com. Give the perfect package this holiday season with our special code BIGHEADS for 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Now, to the show. Hello and welcome to Body Count, the podcast where we believe history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes, and a proud member of the Big Heads Podcast Network. We're here to show you don't hate history, you just hate the way it was taught to you. Only rule when we choose a topic, someone, or as is usually the case, a lot of someone's died. We give you this series of events in a narrative fashion, and by the end, correlate said story with current events. I'm not PBS, Ken Burns, or Dan Carlin. If you want a Hoover-esque Just the Facts Ma'am history podcast, we're not going to be for you, i.e., there will be analysis and opinions. My opinions are my own. Know that I hold my co-host verbally hostage once a week. Direct your hate at me, folks, where it belongs. It's said tragedy plus time equals comedy. No, we giggle at some occasionally rough subject matter. We are not actively trying to offend anyone. You've been warned. If you're okay with all of that, I'm your host, Jessica Manor, and I'm joined today by my co-hostess. Again, who sounds like a fucking chimney sweep.
Sorry. It's Bethany Skelton. Oh, God. I apologize in advance, y'all. I went out of town on vacation. Of course, picked up all the out of townness crud, yuckiness.
Out of townness crud. She's acting like she went to a country where you have to have your fucking shots. She went to Tennessee, which I guess is kind of a country.
I mean, yeah.
Your shots.
We love you, Tennessee. Just kidding. No. Then, of course, I come back to weather that went from like 20 degrees to 76 in a 48-hour time slot. And I'm like, what time slot? Oh, my God.
That's a hell of a time slot. That's like a PBS marathon time slot.
What's wrong with me? But I was like, okay, my body obviously can't handle this. So I caught the crud, and I'm sucking down hot toddies right now just so that I can.
I was going to say, that's our follow-up. The good news, folks, is we are not going to be sober for this episode.
Yay!
Bethany's been hitting her toddies, and I, because I'm on brand, have been drinking vodka. Vodka. How appropriate as we're talking about the Romanovs.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we have to give a big a listener thank you right now to Paul, one of our listeners. He has schooled me a little bit.
Special. No, I know he schooled you, but he made me feel so good because he was like, it kind of was like really nice because he was like, you know what, Bethany, good good effort. I'm like, yay! I know I suck. Hey.
He also meant I sucked too. Like,
he was more aggressive with you because he knows that I'm a sweet person and you're you can take it. I was going to call you
it curse. Yes, we are still playing last week's game of calling out a curse. We're trying really hard to get better about our cursing on this show, even though I've dropped the F-bomb in the first 5 seconds.
I didn't even notice.
I'm still laughing about. Oh my God, what are we going to talk about?
You said you did the countdown of recording in 3, 2, 1, and I was like, oh, wait, what are we going to talk about? I said it so quiet, I was hoping to whisper it. It didn't work.
Same thing we do every week, Pinky.
Oh crap, that's what we're talking about. Meanwhile, I've got my sock monkey cup with honey, vanilla, chamomile tea with peach Evan Williams and lemons.
See, she's drinking better than me. In my mug, in my Rick and Morty coffee mug, I just have coffee and I have Dr. Pepper and vodka. I'm not that classy. I'm not even drinking a drink, just whatever works.
I'm drinking wine through a straw. I'm bougie like that too.
I mean, do we call it bougie or do we call it the other way? I don't even know anymore.
I know.
Really quickly, before we keep doing our chatter, let's get our housekeeping out of the way.
Housekeeping! Okay.
Housekeeping! As usual, we've got a lot. And if you've been following this nightmare of a Romanov series, we're going to get to what a nightmare it's been in a minute. You will know. It's been a lot. Before we do that, our housekeeping, though, we are part of the Big Heads Podcast Network, which is a great collection of podcasts. We're super excited. Please go and check them out on social media, everyone, or at Big Heads Podcast Network. I think it's just bigheadsmedia.com. Pretty sure.
Why'd you pause like that? It was really weird. You're like a split second of silence.
Because my asthma's bad today, and I have.
Do your inhaler, please.
I have no voice or air control. Fuck off! I'm gonna have to do my inhaler. So, dear listeners, before we get back to housekeeping,
oh my God,
nerd alert.
This is gonna be a fun episode.
This is gonna be a fucking mess.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't even know. I need to mute myself when I do that, but I don't know how to do it. Here we go. Oh shoot.
If you look at the bottom of Teams there's a microphone. You tap the microphone and then you untap the microphone.
Okay, can you still hear me then?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. I muted. I just wanted to make sure if I mute and unmute, you can still hear me.
All right. Well, we've done a mute and unmute test on air, so that's exciting.
Yes. Okay, keep going.
Wonderful. Again, we're super goddamn excited to be part of this podcast network. So please go and check them out. If you love the show, please go and give us those 5 stars on iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Quite frankly, you can say whatever the hell you want about us. Put in there, they're ass clowns.
Curse.
It's really, oh God, curse. It's not to make us feel good, although we won't complain about it, but it does help us out on the business end. To that note, we're about to get our Patreon back up and running post-hiatus. Now that we're back with some bonus episodes, interviews, and some bonus body counts. We'll be sure to update you via social media, so please be sure to follow us on social media.
Yes, and we'll plug that at the end.
Yeah,
because we want you to listen.
We do. I am doubly split this week because I'm getting ready for our interview with Warren. So I've been down I'm calling it meerkat times now instead of saying I'm going down a hole or research hole. Well, because it sounds a little bit dirty, right? And we're trying to clean up our act. So I've been meerkat timesing Winston Churchill and the Islamic Empire within the British Empire. Empire a lot this week, as well as these god-awful Romanovs. We thought we would come back with maybe a 4-part series, and that we'd just have a lot of fun with the early Romanovs. That 4 parts has turned into, 8 so far? 8
That's
so
my
far?
fault. It's my fault. It is, because I'm dumb. You started calling everybody the same gosh darn name, and I'm like, girl, back it up. You've lost me completely. Now, I'll have to say these last few have made me happy. I cannot believe I'm saying that on this podcast, but I'm happy.
It's hard to believe.
But shoot, like, I've understood and followed and been very like, yeah, learning. I get it.
I get it now. Yay!
But that's because, and the reason why I get it now is because you did all of that back research to get us to this point, to where I'm like, okay, now I don't feel so lost. I don't know why
now,
I did that.
I feel like other than Romanov research fellows, I feel like right now I've got more Romanov knowledge than I know what to do with. It was not my intent. Know that we are nearing the end, and do not expect another deep dive exploration for quite some time. I'm going to tell you that, because I broke down and cried at my computer the other night. Just like, I have so much more to go, and I hate that. Before I wrote this episode out.
And what's crazy, Jessica, the same day you had a breakdown in front of the computer about research, I was having a breakdown and cried because I had to go to work for like the millionth day in a row without a day off. And I'm like, I just want to go back to podcast research. And you're like, I'm so tired of podcast research. I'm like, you want to trade?
I would give right now my left hand to have a research assistant to finish this up for me, but I know that's not the case.
I thought you were going to say my left tit.
Well, I'm trying to avoid the curses or curse adjacent, but yes, I would give that as well.
Okay, I was going to say a tit is not a curse word.
You could have that left tit. It's not for children or anything anymore, and it's not big.
I love you.
Like, if you want this left shoulder blade, that's your business. I don't even care anymore. That's actually
bigger than your left tit. So.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't even give a shit.
I'm crying right now because I'm laughing.
Curse! Damn! Curse!
You're doing worse than me. I've been saying poo and crap and.
Because I am so mad at the existence of the Romanovs right now.
Yes,
luckily we only have one more. After this one, though, we only have #learning. Fuck. Freak you. Curse.
Fudge you. Fudge sticks you.
Fudge sticks you right in the a-hole.
Booty hole. There you go. See, why am I doing better than you right now? And I'm sick.
Because I am so mad about the Romanovs. I am so tired of doing it. I'm so tired of doing it. That's the problem. Once you start these things, though, you can't just go, okay, I'm done. No, you got to finish it out, which means Peter. But we're going to get to Peter today. And then we're done. I mean, thank the Lord. I already have ideas for fun stuff we're going to do down the line. I'm ready for some one-off episodes.
You want to get off on one-off episodes? Sorry.
Oh, I'll get off on one-off episodes. You have no idea. I'm just flicking my bean, happy to be almost done with what we are.
Oh, your bean. Oh, that's so cute.
I'm just so Romanov'd out. I'm out. And then God bless Outlandish Historians. They're done with theirs because they did that. I thought maybe I should have done the same thing and done the last few Romanovs instead of all of this Russian history.
But I was so confused. And honestly, now that we've gotten to this part, I'm not. Because I'm like, cool, I get it. Because I understand it. So I know you're wanting to pull your hair out. I know you want to cry, or you did cry already.
I have cried a lot.
And you want to throw your hands up and say all the curse words in the book. But if you could see me right now, I am actually bowing, curtsying to you because you did all that effort to help me understand. And I am probably one of the dumbest listeners on this podcast.
I do.
Everybody else is like, gosh darn it, Bethany, figure it out already.
Figure it out. Too much Letterkenny this week. God, figure it out.
Yeah.
All
right, so let's get going because I want to learn.
We got a lot to learn. We're so far. But I see a light at the end of the tunnel. This is going to stop being a frickin' Romanov podcast. Thank
hopefully
God in heaven. And we're not going to talk about Russia for a very long time after this. So, guys, know that.
So, Vladimir, either come at us now or give up.
Come at us now or give it up, man, because we're almost done. And I got no patience for you. I got no patience for any of it. So, come at me, bro. Hey.
Whoa. We have patience for Vladimir, always and forever.
Always.
We love you.
Daddy Vlad.
So we will wait for you, Daddy Vlad.
We abhor your human rights record, but we would very much like to jump on it. So.
Jump on it. Jump on it. No.
That's where we're at in a headspace. That's where we're at. We've gone full Stockholm syndrome with it.
Yep.
Like
just
literally. Okay. We left off last week. Alexei was Romanov.
Dead.
Yep, dead.
Right.
Dead as a doornail.
With a son, right? Not with a son that had
couple
all the
sons.
Stuff, right?
Couple sons. We're gonna get to the first.
These are sons. These sons actually had education and wasn't sheltered and stuff like that, like all the previous ones, right?
Correct. But they are sick. So.
Yeah, of course.
You'll also remember, like, as he's dying, we have this big vendetta between his first wife's family and his second wife's family.
Yes, because they got pushed out because they didn't. Right. Because his first wife's family, or his first wife, did not actually produce any coherent, eligible.
Well, no, the czar that's coming is very, very smart. They're just not particularly healthy, which, as we know, is always going to be a Romanov problem.
Right. That's what happens when you inbred, but it
is what it is. But I mean, to be fair, these ones weren't even that inbred. They just had like bad luck of the draw.
Well, that was the BFF disease, right? I remember.
We're gonna get to it. What it was? It's an inherent form of scurvy. It's super weird. So we've got this whole vendetta about to kick off. So it's in the midst of this backdrop that this family infighting. All of this is going on when Alexei's eldest son, Fyodor III Alexievich, inherits the crown. Well, of course, they're going to be named the same thing, Bethany. We always knew this.
I understand that, but I have the right to be frustrated already. What are we, like 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes in?
If that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we got Fyodor III Romanov on the throne. So the House of Romanov, they're looking pretty secure. At least nobody contested this transfer of power.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's still a little worried, though. Fyodor III's less than healthy. He had to be carried to his own coronation on a litter. Not a lot of people.
Wait, what's a litter?
Think of like a stretcher.
Oh,
like a fancy
Jesus.
chair stretcher, where the 4 people carry it.
I thought that was like a sign of power, though. Like, I thought that was like I'm so-and-so, carry me everywhere.
This is Russia. You want to walk in on your 2 hard man legs like a
boss.
Yeah,
okay. I get
there
it.
are people that value strength.
Okay, I just thought, I'm thinking Aladdin, when he got carried in on a big old elephant.
They're not very Ottoman Empire about it. Let me tell you, they're all about you walk in there on your 2 strapping, scary legs.
Okay,
so he's got to be carried in on a litter. not a lot of people are betting on Fyodor III to live too terribly long.
Right.
So this brings us to what we were talking about. He suffered from a rare chronic form of scurvy, which resulted in anemia. Now, the anemia and the scurvy caused his bones to develop abnormally and his limbs to constantly swell. Always has issues. Scurvy is actually caused by a lack of vitamin C, and it was common in the 17th century during like wars or sea voyages. But the early Romanovs seemed to have they were like backdoor carriers of a rare hereditary form of this disease. Now, I didn't know that you could have hereditary scurvy, but they do.
I didn't even know what scurvy was. I mean, I feel like that's like a pirate thing. Scurvy.
It really is. No, it really is, because you couldn't just like grab vitamin C tablets at the store and eat an orange any old time you wanted,
Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm thinking of the sun, but that's vitamin D. I'm so dumb.
Yeah.
That's
vitamin C. Vitamin C. So then, even worse, a severe childhood accident kind of further complicated Fyodor's health issues, which is a lesson to they were at one of the Boyer's home, and they were playing with a horse that was a little too spirited with a sled, like a sleigh behind it.
Okay.
And Fyodor fell off the horse, and the sleigh actually rolled over him. So it ended up collapsing his chest, had chest and back problems the remainder of his life as well.
God. I mean, I know, right? Horse before, but that was because myself and my little brother, we decided to ride bareback. Because, I'm from Kansas. That was a thing. We just hopped on a horse and ran around.
I get it. Like, I'm from Texas.
And so he got spooked at something, and he went one way and we went the other. And I, motherly instinct at the time, pulled my little brother, because there's a huge 10-year age gap between us. I just pulled him in, and I landed. When I landed, I let him land on my chest, and it took the air out of me. But I guess that's better.
So now imagine if you'd have fallen off of that horse, and then a sleigh weighted down with people ran over you.
Yeah. Versus an 8-year-old boy. Yeah. No, I get it.
Exactly. You got it. You understand.
Okay. Again, slightly heavier.
There's a lesson there. Don't let your royal heirs just be out doing whatever with no adult supervision. Just a thought.
Yeah. They kind of need to be alive and healthy. Just slightly.
Just slightly. They're going to inherit a throne. God. Well, Fyodor, he didn't spend much time outside running and playing as a child, obviously, for those reasons. Mm-hmm. But while confined inside, he became very, very smart.
Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, if you don't got the body, then you need to have the brains.
That's exactly right. This guy's all about science, theology, philosophy, rhetoric. He was a gifted linguist. He was even a fairly decent composer. Quite a musician, actually.
Wow. Okay, cool.
I know. He was focused on European trends, tended to be a pretty serious reformer. It was like Western everything, from fashion to technology. And Fyodor intended to give Russia a serious overhaul. Unfortunately for him, he's going to kind of become a prisoner of his own body, though.
Well, when you get ran over by a sleigh and you have all these issues, your body, you can only do so much with your mind. You need kind of have a body to do stuff, right?
Yeah, right. You got to be up a little bit, be able to give those commands.
Right. Just a little bit.
Just a little. Ill health early on kept him from getting down to serious business. And so while he's still young, control of the government kind of falls in the hands of his uncle on his mom's side, Ivan Miloslavsky, and his family and cronies. Now,
Ivan, Jesus.
Nope, curse, Jesus.
You didn't finish the word, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Fudge Sickles. Jesus Fudge Sickles Christ.
Hanging on the cross. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Jesus French toast, man.
That's going to be it from now on. Jesus, French toast
French
Christ.
toast Christ.
So, government, while Theodore is still not yet old enough to rule on his own, government's going to fall under Ivan Miloslavsky and their family and their cronies. Now, on the other side of this Boyar fight, we'll remember was Alexei's second wife, Natalia's patron.
Was pretty.
Yeah,
right.
The one that was young and smoking
and hot.
Yeah,
he like basically was like, I wouldn't have married you if I had known I had this short of amount of time to live.
I would have I would have done more to protect you. That same one. So we got Natalia. Now, her patron was Matviev, and her family, and her cronies are on the other side of the Miloslavskis. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
So Matviev, and just by the way, I was definitely not pronouncing that correctly last episode. I know that now.
You did way better than me.
Matviev had been sent into exile, leaving the court at the run of the Miloslavskis.
Yes. Well, they didn't have a choice either, right? Because it was kind of like, oh, well, this is the first wife's family, and they have the rightful heir. So
and they've got the rightful heir right now.
Yeah.
Theodore's a fair man, as we're going to get to and see. So Miloslavsky starts doing away with all of Alexei's, our dead Tsar Alexei's, appointments to government offices. So he gets rid of a bunch of government departments altogether and puts himself in charge of the most important stuff.
We got trouble.
Yeah.
In River City.
Then anything that remained, he gave and distributed among all of his BFFs. So at least to say, corruption was running wild in government departments.
Corrupt.
But
I might not be smart, but I do understand corruption.
That's exactly what was going on. So everything's just being kind of pooed on, run poorly. But as useless as all these officials are, they owed everything they had, like all bread and butter, to the Miloslavsky family.
Now make sure I understand this, because there's technically there's not two Miloslavsky. There's not two. Sorry.
I'm laughing at our Russian pronunciations. I'm sorry.
At least laugh at me. There's Natalia's last name is also
she's a Narushkin.
Okay, sorry. I got a little slightly confused because I felt like I had seen the Miloslavsky.
First wife is Miloslavsky. Second wife is a Narushkin.
So
which, by the way,
Eminem.
Okay. I also was not saying that correctly last episode. I can promise you. The Narushkins are Natalia's family.
Again,
and gonna be Peter's family.
Oh, so Peter is a descendant from because Peter's Narushkin. His mom is
Natalia.
Is Natalia? Oh my god! Okay. Oh my god! I can't believe I followed that.
You did. You totally followed it.
Yeah. You should see me. I'm patting myself on the back.
Pat.
Maybe this has to do with the fact that we didn't drink last episode, so I'm able to follow a little better.
I'm gonna snort. God, that's on a recording.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's not the dumbest thing I've said on this podcast, or the most ridiculous I've done. So,
but it was still the cutest. At least to me. Because I've snorted like a million times on this podcast. So finally, it's not me.
Finally, not me. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, Theodore III falls head over heels for some rando girl he happens to see at church. Now,
her pussy must have been like shining with angels.
Oh, it must have looked like a Baroque sculpture down there. Just like the agony and the ecstasy was shining from down below, I suppose. I don't know.
Take me, Theodore the Third. Take me for who I am. At least he met her at church and not at the
Russian bar or brothel. So that's good.
Yay, we're moving in the right direction.
Again, we're gonna count everything in the right direction in this podcast. So meets this rando girl at church.
Right direction.
Here's the first test of what my Russian pronunciations are going to be this episode. Now, her name was Agafia Grushevskaya. Oh, I think I nailed it.
You totally nailed it, at least in my opinion.
Agafia Grushevskaya. I think I got it, guys. Now, the Miloslavskis...
Don't ask me. Don't you dare ask me.
Don't you dare ask me. The Miloslavskis were not down with this development. I can tell you that. So they wanted to... You think? Some rando girl that they don't control is now looking at being Tsarina? No, don't think so.
No.
They wanted to, of course, pop the daughter of one of their allies into the spot of Tsarina. Not some rando country noble's daughter with zero connections and allies. Because that's what she was.
Something. I know, and I have to say something, okay? Because when are they going to learn that arranged marriages do not work? Like maybe 5% of the time it works out.
I would argue that they do work, whereas the marriage may not be happy. They make heirs and they make alliances because it worked for a very long time in all of human history.
Whatever.
But nobody may be happy. There may be a lot of bastards, but bastards don't inherit. And it's not that kind of curse. I mean bastard as in a bastard, not...
No, I know what I mean
Jon
children
Snow wise.
Oh my God, I'm dead right now.
I'm dead right now. Not that kind of curse. Hashtag not that curse.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Okay, keep going. I'm listening.
So Uncle Ivan Miloslavsky has a plan. He starts talking some
Uncle
mad.
Daddy.
You know what? Around the court in Moscow, saying both Agafia and her mother were like good old fashioned prostitutes, basically.
I'm sorry. Prostitutes? I like that. That's good. I'm proud of you.
Old prostitute. I try. Now, he's saying they're guilty of all kinds of improprieties and just general wickedness. But Agafia is questioned by some friends with Theodore's actual best interests at heart, not Miloslavsky's. And she sticks to her guns, man. She basically says, well, Ivan Miloslavsky, he's a big old fat liar, a Dickensian, not guilty. I'm not guilty of anything. So blow me. I'll swear on my life, give you the old hymen test, whatever I got to do. I am not a prostitute. He can go and F himself in the A.
Right. Wow.
So Theodore,
right? Amazing.
Right? That's a woman back then.
That's a woman.
Just basically to tell a boyer to go F himself in the A.
Big old middle finger in the air, Eminem style, boom.
Exactly. She's like, you want to see my hymen? You want to see it? Basically.
I'll show it to you. I may not be a prostitute, but I'll show you my hymen, and it's still there.
I'll straight up show you my virginity.
I don't know that kind of prostitute, but not
if it's to a court doctor, apparently. So Theodore is like, oh God, after all that, she's the one, right? Like, this girl's got some spunk and some spirit. Says, F it, and for the first time as czar, because now he's in his majority, i.e. old enough to rule alone. Theodore makes an independent decision.
Oh.
Uncle Ivan Miloslavsky, he's sent packing from court on the grounds that he's an evil, scheming, deceitful prick and was not ever welcome in the Tsar's presence again.
Woo! Get that out of here. Get that shit out of here. Bye-bye.
Finally,
Bye-bye.
somebody, because remember, Michael wouldn't fight for the girl he loved and all that, but not Theodore. He ain't that kind of Tsar.
Well, hold on. Michael, whatever his name is, however you want to say it, he was so just happy to have his dad, right? It was his dad back, right?
Well, even Daddy, went and showed that what Saltykov had done was not true, but still, it was none Martha.
Later on, even then, Daddy kind of got a little power hungry.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he nipped that in the butt, real quick. He was like,
exactly.
Not in this house. She showed me her hymen. She ain't no prostitute.
Basically, he was like, "Oh, she told you off wonderfully, Uncle, and I don't like the way you're running my government. So,
bye.
Get the hell out of Dodge."
It's kind of like your disclaimer in the very beginning. If you don't like us, please leave.
If you don't like that, if you're not okay with that now, get out. Fair warning.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's awesome because this has never happened. This has never happened before.
No, and there are a lot of things Fyodor is going to do coming forward that you're really going to enjoy. So, again, he makes his first independent decision. He's old enough as Tsar, and he's, by God, going to be the Tsar, and nobody's going to tell him what to do. So, for tradition's sake, he does call a bride show just because, it's what you did. But everybody and their dog knew it was just for show. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, of course, Agathia is declared the winner, and Fyodor has a new wife. And it very much breathes new life into Fyodor. I guess getting sniz on the reg has that effect on teenagers.
Oh my God!
If you've got somewhere to stick your king penis, you become a new man.
Your kingpin into
your kingpin. Exactly. So getting laid and being old enough that no one can legally tell him, no, lights a fire under Fyodor's royal ass.
Which is a good thing. I feel like that is a good step in the right direction because it's all right, cool. Listen, I see you're being corruption, and you're doing all this crazy stuff. At least even though he's sickly-ish, his body doesn't really work that great.
Yeah, he's very sick.
Yeah, okay. So at least under all this, he's making some good decisions here. I'm kind of I am impressed by his motives. Hey, he might be motivated by a vajiji, but I'm totally for it.
By the time I finish with Fyodor, you're going to be hot for Fyodor.
Oh, well, I'm already getting hot because I've got 2 hot toddies down my throat. Okay. I shouldn't call them hot toddies. I should call them hot Fyodors.
You're having 2 hot Fyodors. So Fyodor summons all the boyars and nobles in the realm, gathers his council. Government Avengers assemble, if you will.
Avengers assemble!
That's exactly.
Wait, no. It's news team. Assemble!
Oh, now, if you'll remember, Fyodor is not the picture of health.
No.
But he is a very clever boy. And he's going to give his dreams of reform a go, starting with taxes, which paid for his standing army. We will also remember taxation became fair, and with things running smooth as silk, Fyodor is able to refill the drained royal coffers ASAP. Yes. So next up.
So wait, because his uncle
Alexei had gotten into that big old war before.
Right, yes.
And then Uncle
I remember the coffers.
Miloslavsky.
he
wasn't
got rid of them
super
all.
great.
Right.
Yeah,
He
no,
got rid of
he
all of them.
refilled the royal treasury. Coffers is the treasury.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I always forget what the hell coffers is. I'm like, what the freak is a coffer? Okay. I mean, I have a royal cough right
I've
now.
got a royal coffer right now. So next up, we've got the census. Now, it wasn't super accurate,
Of
but
course.
it had never occurred to anyone to even try to count the subjects or territory of Russia before. So even if it's not perfect, at least it was attempted.
Hey, good for him. Good for him. That's
Exactly.
smart. Like, hey, how many people do I got?
All right. Let's look at the outline because this is, to me, interesting, especially for this time in history when the world wasn't all that populated. We're looking right at this point of history at approximately 12 million people.
Damn.
Which is, the first time they found out how much land they even had as well.
This is
also
a lot.
Turns out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, a lot of land. A lot of. That just happened.
Ooh, this is going to go downhill fast.
Yay.
Basically, Russia discovers she is the largest country in the world in terms of territory and population.
Yeah.
So, good for that census.
Wait, I mean, like, has anybody else done a census? So they're probably. Oh, okay. All right.
That was a thing by this time everywhere else in Western countries and stuff. So this is the first time they did it, and they find out, oh God, we have the most land and the most people. Good for us.
Yeah, we win.
Which it really doesn't seem all that important until, say, you go to war.
Right. Yeah. War, man. Like, oh, you want to fight me? Guess what? I got more people and land than you. Come at me, brah.
That's exactly right. Now you know how much land you have to defend, and you know what you have to leverage to defend it, which takes us to the next reform, boundaries. And no, like, not the kind you set with a needy significant other, but actual, boundaries between estates.
Like drawing a line, like an actual line, like this is where we're cutting off our piece.
Yeah, and exactly.
This is what we own. This is what you own.
So he establishes boundaries between private lands, noble lands, royal lands, church lands. Oh my, like all the internal borders were checked, and those that were in any kind of dispute were settled post haste. Because Fedor didn't have time for infighting over like boundaries and stuff. Once you know who has what, it makes it much easier to enforce taxation as well.
Oh, okay. Again, smart. Like you said, he may not have a good body, but he got a good brain.
He got a good brain. Sexy brain.
He got big old sexy brain.
Sexy brain. Then came the army. We're so dumb. We're so buzzed.
We're not even on, like, I'm looking at this and I enlarged this outline because I'm blind. And we're not even on page 2 of this outline right now.
No.
Fun times. Okay, I'm going to try to stop, but it probably won't happen.
Let's just run through Fyodor because we're going to have a lot to talk about.
I don't want to run, damn it. I don't want to run. I'm not a good runner.
No, because at this point we'll throw up as buzzed as we are. We're driving like 20 miles an hour tops. Then comes the Then comes army reform. The most populated parts of Russia were divided into 9 districts, and the army was organized into 9 regiments in each of these districts. So, like I said, regiment per district, and the regiment would do all recruiting in that district.
So there was 9. So it's divided into 9 with 9 regiments. So it's like you have your army here, right? Like everybody has their own.
Yeah. So if you masturbate to the Hunger Games, no, it's not an original idea. Fyodor had already put it in 9 districts.
The Hunger Games did it in 12/13, so we did it better.
Did they? Did they?
But, yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right.
None of the deaths were as metal as they've been in this so far. Just saying.
They tried. Did not succeed.
They tried. They're boring compared to Russians.
Yeah.
So then on top of that, and you're going to like this, the Court of Petitions was reopened in a sort of attempt to do something about all the injustice and corruption that had been running rampant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a person of any rank could file a complaint to the Chamber of Judgment or to the Tsar personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if they had an issue, they could be like, hey, listen to me. You need to listen. There's corruption over here. You got trouble.
Exactly.
You got trouble in River City.
We got trouble in River. Oh, God.
If you have never ever watched
head, you're going to get it in my head. Stop.
You need
Stop. Theodore also reformed the penal.
We're so juvenile.
The penal code. Also reformed the penal code. He abolished some of the insane, harsh stuff like the hand cutting off, the feet cutting off, the finger cutting off. No more cutting off.
Even heads?
Well, if you commit treason, you're going to lose your head.
Okay, well, all right.
Yeah, that's not gone. So instead, Theodore has these petty criminals shipped off to like Siberia instead, where they help to settle largely empty lands. So maybe it wasn't easy, but at least, no more cutting off, and Theodore is civilizing and laying claim to a huge part of the kingdom that no one had as yet paid any attention to.
Okay, so wait. So what he's doing is he's taking these. Okay, so instead of decapitating and dismembering,
let's say you steal,
not decapitate.
Let's see,
a loaf of bread.
Steal a loaf of bread. Yep. Okay,
okay.
We're gonna go Aladdin with it. I love how we both went there.
Yeah,
they're not gonna cut your hand off.
We're gonna send you to empty land.
We're going to send you to empty land in Siberia that we haven't even settled yet, and you're going to settle it on behalf of the crown.
Farm it and work it.
Farm it, work it, live there, figure out a job.
No. But they don't own it. They still just... It's like their way of claiming it without claiming it.
It's better than not having a home or food. And getting your hand chopped off for trying to claim food. Now you've got technically a slave. Food.
But they're slaves.
Or serfs.
Right? Okay. But
so
they're still
everybody.
Well,
so is all 90% of the population.
Okay, but still, it's like almost like taking a criminal and making him into a poor farmer, right?
Pretty much. But if they were stealing bread in the first place, they weren't living anywhere, had no income, and then they got their hands chopped off. They were beggars or died in the street. At least this way, they got a second chance. They got a second chance, and they got a fighting chance. Exactly.
Damn. You know what? Why are we not learning from this? What's happening?
Oh, that's what we ask every week about all of history. I mean, we really do.
It's just like, wow, he kind of has a good idea here. Why are we not implementing this again?
I mean, really and truly, it's not ideal, but for Russia at the time, it's pretty good, right? At least nothing's getting cut off for no reason.
Props to you. Yeah.
Props to you, Theodore. Now, remember how Moscow was made all of wood?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You remember that room when it burned down?
All burned. Yeah, they had all burned. Yeah,
last episode.
Hey, look at me! I'm learning.
Whereas other European cities at the time were built entirely of stone, brick, all of that. Remember that, right?
Yeah. I remember.
Again, Moscow's made of wood, and it had a bad habit of burning down at least once a generation. Now, granted, last time it was because of a purge party. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But Theodore also didn't see purge parties not becoming a thing in the country anytime soon. It's always going to be a thing in that country. So, it is what it is. But Theodore thought maybe we ought to rebuild the
Like
city
stone
in
or
stone.
brick or okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, he may not have the body, but at least he's got the brains.
He got all the brains.
Brains.
So he
I
even
stone or
offered
brick, so I was close.
he even
Woo.
offered 10-year interest-free loans to pay for the stuff to get done. And
Oh,
furthermore,
Jessica,
most
did
of
you
these
jizz your pants on that interest-free loans?
Fuck off.
Did you
Yes, I did.
Did you just
I'm
jizz
about
a
to
little?
jizz more. I'm about to
Okay.
jizz more. Furthermore, most of these mortgages didn't even get repaid.
Oh God. Like, this is the only, and I repeat, the only time I'm like, damn, I wish I lived in this era. This is the only time.
This is the only
That's it.
reason.
No bride shows, no heads off, no poverty, no starvation, no czar.
No
of
children
czar.
eating, no
Yeah,
ripping to
cannibalism.
pieces,
Dismemberment.
cannibalism,
No
witches.
paying off a mortgage. Hello. Yes, please.
Count us in.
I'm in.
In the end, though, it didn't really matter. It was still a great investment because Moscow became a city of stone. Finally.
Yeah,
So, you know,
Took
the next
forever
time
and
they
a half.
wanted to throw one of those decapitated heads soaked in vodka parties,
Oh God.
which they will throw more.
I mean,
the city
it's
will at
kind
least
of
be
their
standing.
thing. It's kind of their thing. It really is.
It
You know
is.
what I mean?
You know, it is what it is.
They didn't
Small
read a
miracles,
history book. They didn't read a
baby
history book.
steps.
They didn't know. They didn't know how to throw a hell of a party. Okay.
Oh my God. Like Burning Man can blow me because I want to be at that party in Moscow. Okay.
Like Burning Man came from somewhere. Nobody knew until now.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Bathing in like decapitated nobles' wine cellars and burning the city down and soaked vodka head parties. Like, digga digga day, you know, like digga digga day, digga digga day. Yeah, that's what happened.
Right. No, it makes sense. Like, I get it now. I know that we did not come up with Burning Man. We stole it from history. Just a little more refined.
Oh, absolutely. From all historical cultures that used to do this kind of thing. At least Moscow's not going to burn to the ground anymore. Then he moved to reforming the courts themselves. So all of that, the court itself, like courtiers, nobles, boyars. So all the system of precedence business was out the window. You couldn't get certain jobs anymore because of your rank. All appointments were assigned on merit and by discretion of the czar. So very clever. Yeah, because this further centralizes power under the czar because he gets to give the appointments ultimately, and it ensures that the right person, competent person, exactly, stands a chance at least now of getting the job.
It's not like that episode of people probably that listen to this probably don't listen to, or watch Family Guy, but remember when there was the Y2K and everything burned down?
The people that do listen to this watch a lot of Family Guy.
It was the Y2K and they rebuilt their city at the Twinkie factory and they drew occupations out of a hat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm a doctor, I drew the town village idiot. Like,
yeah, that is not my title. Also did it.
Oh, okay. Of course,
no, it's both. It's both.
Okay, but I mean, it just makes sense. Like, maybe it feels like you said. I really feel like he is making some good changes.
Yes, he is. Oh my God! Can I just say we are both so buzzed right now? I can hear it out of us.
No, I'm sick. I'm blaming it on sickness.
No, you blame it on sickness. I'm rubbing my eyes, going, "Oh, sweet Lord in heaven, just let me get through this podcast." Without saying terrible words. Hey, we haven't even cursed. Well, we've been curse free. Well, we've cursed, but for a while.
Doing good. Hey, air high five or
We're air high-fiving right now.
Yeah,
we're
it's
doing
like
it.
1,000 miles away.
We're doing 1,000-mile high-five stretch.
Cheer. Over here.
Cheers.
Clink.
Chin chin, all of that. So again, all of that precedent stuff is out the window. Then Theodore just burned all the great books of rank, which essentially kept track of the pedigree of all noble families and which ones were more important than the others, just like at a big old bonfire in the courtyard.
Hold on. I don't know if I agree with that because it's still history. Because we still have to learn from our past mistakes. And if you burn and get rid of it, how are we going to learn?
I don't agree with the burning of books. I
never agree with the burning of books.
You know how much that fascist, but all he burned were the pedigrees of all the royal families.
When you say pedigrees like of royal families, you mean like this family is better than this family.
Exactly. He got rid of all of it so that nobody can say they're better than another person, so that nobody can say, even if he dies, nobody can say, but I rank above you. What proof do you have of that? Oh, the proof's gone.
Okay, so it's almost like he burned
this in this one case. Right? He basically burnt the letters of patent.
Oh wait, I don't know even. Oh, shit, I don't even know what that is. I mean, curse. I don't know what that is.
Curse. Basically, whatever said that you're better than the lowliest person on the street. There are no more lineages. He got rid of them. So you can't say that you're better than Joe Blow. I agree, but Theodore knows he's going to die early.
Well,
he's sick. Again, and for his reforms to stick, I can't believe you're on the other side of this issue. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Like, for me, like, how else is somebody like me going to learn to understand? Like, yeah, I don't see that it should matter. Like, oh, I'm better than you because I was born
This is a point in favor of democracy for the first time in this story, Bethany. And now you're disagreeing with it.
But I only disagree with it because I feel like it's something to learn from. Not that I agree with what it stands for. I am saying that I'm disagreeing with the burning of it because it's something that you can learn from.
I would have liked to have them too, but let me explain Theodore's thinking. He knows he's going to die early.
Okay. No, I get that.
He doesn't have many years left.
Right. I get that.
He wants to make sure that all court appointments going forward are not based on who you're related to, who your father's father was.
Your father's cousin twice.
You don't get to be
no, I get that.
Owner of you don't get to be the government official of the Treasury just because you're high-born. What I want to make sure forever is the person that is most suited to the job takes care of the Treasury.
Then how the hell does Ancestry.com get their information then? Because if all this shit's burned or shiz is burned, then how are they getting How are they getting this information? Because I get that. I understand the reason why he burned it, but at the same time, this is true bloodline lineage history.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I still would want to know.
That I think Ancestry.com is completely full of shit. And I realize it's a curse, but it's as full of shit as a Christmas goose. So there's one of my Southern idioms for you.
Oh my God.
I don't even think that's a Southern idiom. No, that might be an English one.
I think it's a Midwest. Oh, I thought it was a Midwest thing because I think my father has said that before.
I have no idea where the idiom comes from, but full of shit is a Christmas goose. They don't know that. They can't trace that. They're full of shit. I personally think if you spit on a cotton swab and send your DNA to a lab, you're out of your
I might be related to Anastasia, you know what I mean? Like, hello.
Well, I can promise you they don't know who you're related to before Theodore the Third.
Yes, there is no proof.
And I'll tell you
that
right now because all the letters of patent were burned. So they're full of shit.
I understand that. However, I disagree.
No, I don't disagree with you because I don't feel good about the burning of books. I don't love it.
No
but
matter
I
how
understand
protective
why
they're doing
he did
for.
it.
I understand too. I do. I understand why he did it because look at the past. Finally, somebody's learning something from history. But
He's
it's
learned something. Exactly right.
But at the same
I don't
time,
agree with it. But you can't take the chance where you lock them away, because the next czar
true.
may open it and give it back.
Yeah. Okay, true. I no, again, like I said, I get it.
I agree. I think we're in agreement that we don't like the destruction of history.
Right.
But we understand why it had to be done.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll let you continue. Sorry.
So
I'm done.
No, because I'm where you are, and I felt very much the same way when I was reading this and looking at this, just going, "Ooh, that's so much history that got destroyed." But at the same time, I understand why you did it. And he's not thinking from a 2019 perspective, what amazing history for us. He's thinking from, I'm not going back to the time of troubles. I can promise you that.
Right. Hey, finally, somebody's learning something. We don't want to go backwards. We're trying to go forwards. And the only way, apparently, to do that is to burn
And it wasn't done. And it wasn't done in like a Nazi spirit. It was done in
that's what I'm coming from.
Spirit.
See, and that's where I think I'm drawing my mental image of him burning these lineage books is from because of course I come from a different era, so I'm thinking back of what history has taught me about the Nazis burning the books, and I'm like, okay, but what are we hiding? I get what he's hiding because for certain reasons, which are good reasons, versus the Nazis who did it for bad reasons. So I get it, but it's like
he's not like
you get that bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It very much does. And I don't disagree. It does give me a bad taste in my mouth, but I do know enough about Theodore to know it's not from a bad place. And he didn't burn anything else. It was just these letters of patent, basically, that said that somebody, because they fell out of the right vagina, is more important than someone else.
Well, noble vagina, not just the right, but the noble. It's a noble, privileged white vagina. I mean, sorry, right.
Well, pretty much. No, it's true.
No. I mean,
basically, he was guaranteeing that good government and good men would always trump bloodlines.
Okay, which is the way it should be. Just because you were born out of the JJ does not give you the right to rule. If you're a bad, awful person, you should not be in power. Plain and simple.
Exactly. So even though we feel icky about the the burning of knowledge.
I'm sure you heard me.
I did.
Okay.
But we don't get political.
Nope.
I feel guilty about the destruction of knowledge, but I also think ultimately it's going to end up being a good thing. Because of where Peter's going to go.
It feels right, which is why it feels weird, and I've questioned it. Because of the fact that I'm like, wait, this is a good thing. Wait, why am I saying that burning books and history is a good thing? Like, who am I?
It's normally not. That's why it's so counterintuitive.
I'm like looking under my chair, like, where did Bethany go?
What happened here?
Where's democracy going? Like, why am I not siding with my own democracy? Like, what's happening to me?
What's happening? Now I'm on the other side of this. Welcome to history, folks. You'll find yourself on the other side of the aisle in less than 15 years. Fyodor introduced Polish fashion at court, encouraged the establishment of the first Russian university after the European fashion, although he would end up dying before he could make it so, built a rockin' fortress in the south to cure that constant Tatar raids problem, opened the first state-run almshouses, which were places that sheltered and fed the poor, and he began reforming the court system further. Like, Fyodor was a man on fire.
Sorry,
and at
hold
times
on.
It didn't seem like he was sick.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you again, but you said Polish.
By Polish fashion.
I'm thinking of the Swedish. I'm sorry. I couldn't quite remember because sorry, I got a little confused when you said Polish. I mixed that up with the Swedes, because wasn't it
could
like
also
it
be
was frowned
Swedish.
upon, right?
Well, it was frowned upon, but what I mean by that, he took up Polish fashion because it was the closest to them. What I really mean is introduces Western fashion and Western thinking at court. So,
okay. Sorry, you
so
said
that they're not
Polish
isolated like medieval scary
times.
people anymore. But
Yeah,
Poland
they, like,
was the
adapting to the
closest.
times. They were adapting.
Poland was the closest tie to Western Europe that they had. So that is why those are the fashions that they adopted, the Polish and Lithuanian Commonwealth.
Sorry, for some reason when you said Polish, I like immediately went back to all the episodes we've done before, and every time we talk about the Polish, and it just triggered a unhappy
No,
memory.
I totally get it. I
think I got a little confused with Polish Swedes.
There are more to come, but
okay. Right. No, I knew that would be. I know there is. I'm just saying, like, when you said that, it kind of triggered something where I was like, wait. Is this really a good idea? But I'm thinking more of the Swedish, because I remember when one of the czars, something with the Swedes, and it was frowned upon.
But there was also some of that. Basically, they're introducing Western court customs, Western fashion, Western thought, basically.
It's changing the old-fashioned ways.
They're becoming more European, which they are considered part of the European powers. So they've become a lot more European. And even though it doesn't seem like he's done all of this, like built these fortresses, looking at universities, all of this, he's done all of this, seems like he wasn't sick. But the truth was he was very, very sick and getting sicker every day.
I'm sorry, but I'm kind of sad because I feel like of all the czars we have talked about, he has really done some major shizness.
Yeah, he had everything.
I feel like saying it that way, but like
he had everything it took to be the perfect autocrat, except for health. Pretty much.
Dang, like talk about set up for disaster, but in the opposite way. You know what I mean?
He's all of human history right here.
Like Jesus, like come on, God, can you just give us this one? No? Okay.
Hello, God. It's me, Theodore.
Like, for real, though. Like, God bless Russia.
So Theodore is doing so much so fast because he knew it was a race against time. Again. Sick czar.
Yeah.
And like you said,
smart
cry and shame because, wow. He's really, really good at it.
Because this is also the same Fyodor that is the son of Alexei, who was educated and in public and taught right and had all the right people. So, of course, he was set up for success.
And it really makes you sad when you think of this line. You think of Michael, who really wasn't stupid, then Alexei, and now Fyodor. And we're going to finish off with Peter the Great. Like there's a lot of shit things that happen, but there are a lot of there's a lot of empire building that goes into this, and it kind of makes you sad that it peters out so hardcore by the end of the Romanovs, right? Because these, for better or for worse, these early guys are like, whew, they are the real deal.
I'm sorry, Jess. When we first got started, these people were freaking insane and needed to be put in a padded room with their arms tied up, like in that little straitjacket.
All the country needed to be shot up with Thorazine. Yeah, I agree.
And for once, I agree with the purge system because it needed it. But now we're at this point where I'm like, oh my God, a good one. He dies. And now another good one. And then he dies. And then now we have a good one. And I'm like, God bless America. God bless Russia. He started off already sick. And look what he did. Like, look what the heck he did.
He knew he was a man from the very beginning. And I think that might be why he was so good. He was so good because he knew he didn't have forever to live. He had to do it now or not at all.
Which
decisively.
Which again is like, I don't want to get all godlike, but is the universe's way of saying,
this needed to happen. Yeah,
it just needed to happen, and don't take what you have for granted. Like, just because you're alive now doesn't mean you're going to be alive forever. And those that know that they're dying, they always make the best of their life.
So is that what we're doing? Saying live your life like Theodore?
Yes!
Yes!
I freaking love that. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Live your life like you're Theodore the Third.
Theodore the Third. Oh my God. Can we make that a thing?
Instead of yellow, just Theodore the Thirding.
Yes.
Now, everything wasn't roses because, of course, during the course of Theodore's life, we have a very costly war in the Ukraine. Of course, God,
well,
we're not ever
be the
going to get
Romanovs
away
if we
from
didn't
the
have a war.
Ukraine.
So.
And I
mean,
know that
you think about it, Jess.
When we very first started this off, I told us all in the very first series in the rise of the Romanovs.
Start off in a war.
Yeah.
Didn't we start
in the rise of the Romanovs?
I said
from the beginning why this was important, and I also said struggles with Russia and the Ukraine and the Crimea were going to be a big factor in why it is that this story is so important. So, of course, we're in yet another costly war in the Ukraine, which, surprising, due to the merit system of appointments, the Russian army was able to hold its own and, repelled the Cossacks and Tatars. So,
because he united everybody. He did.
He was everybody, and
he's like, hey, I count you. I count all of you as my people and as like land and stuff. And instead of, cutting off appendages, I'm going to send you here and we're going to claim this, this, and this. Damn, he was fucking smart. Or freaking smart. Curse. He's cursed. Sorry. But he was smart. Goodness gracious. Like,
yeah. Not only that, they don't have a military defeat because somebody that knows how to actually be a military leader is in charge of the military, not a president's like, I was born now, so I'm going to lead an army, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. Now, no gains were made, but no territory was lost. And a temporary peace treaty was established. Yeah.
That feels like it's like a reoccurring factor here ever since we lost a big one. It's been, we didn't win one, but we didn't lose one. And I feel like it's been kind of like the reoccurring thing here. It
wasn't until Alexei won all those and then lost them because of Nikon's policies that we reverted. So we have a bigger win because a temporary peace treaty is established, and that is a good thing because the stress of war was really eating at Theodore's health.
Or everyone's health. Shoot.
Everyone's health, but Theodore's especially. So with the war over and the reforms are making governance much easier because you don't have to oversee everything personally as czar. You put men in charge that know what they're doing. Theodore's health kind of improves a bit. Then, of all things, he manages to knock up Agathia, which nobody thought he'd be able to make.
Yay, good for him. Yeah.
Well, don't celebrate too early. Everyone got really, really hopeful. But this is Russia.
Dream crusher. You're a dream crusher. Ah.
This is Russia. This is why they are not happy, hopeful people. Because both mother and son, and yes, it was a boy, died due to complications of childbirth.
Oh, I'm going to cry for him.
I know.
Bless Russia. Like, I can't believe I keep saying that, but for real.
It's the truth, though. Like, you take a step and take 14 back in Russia. So
you have 14 kids usually.
Theodore becomes despondent and really falls into like a
Depression.
despair hole. Yeah, it's classic
Yeah.
Russian. And this despair and depression takes what's left of his fragile health in
Well,
with him.
that doesn't
He
surprise
began,
me.
yeah, no.
I know what it's like to have depression, and when you're already like feeling like that, and then something like really bad happens, it's
She
like
was kind of the thing that pepped him up in the first place of her
she's not
lifelong
there.
illness, and now she's not
That
there.
was-
Took his
was
son
the
with
girl-
her.
was the girl that he fell madly in love with at
Yeah,
church.
he truly loved. It wasn't like an arranged marriage. It was the real
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So he begins to deteriorate really, really quickly. He marries again 7 months later, but he couldn't even stand at his own wedding. And then 10 weeks after his second marriage, because he does want to try to make an heir, but 10 weeks after the second marriage, Fyodor III Alexievich died at the age of only 20.
Oh my God. I thought he was like already 20.
No, he's very,
like 20
very
several
young.
years ago. Oh, my heart
He only
just broke.
ruled for 5 years. And he
Oh my
did
God,
all of that
wow.
in 5 years.
Dang!
No, Fyodor III is a very impressive figure, actually.
Sorry, I thought I was impressed by Mikhail or Michael or whatever, because he did a lot and he actually had power for a really long time and produced
Michael
several.
had a very, very long life. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just got sad.
Yeah.
I got really sad.
The last bout of illness came on very unexpectedly and killed him so quickly that Fyodor didn't have time to leave instructions regarding succession.
Oh no.
So he has no clear heir apparent. So despite this brief period of prosperity, proper governance, in autocratic Russia, we're about to get back to Russia being Russia. So it's time to go effing crazy, loot, murder, and play the royal Hunger Games for the throne. It's not super productive, but it is super interesting and long past time for us to start dropping some money.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yep. We're about to do it for real because Fyodor's dead and we have an unclear succession.
Okay. All right.
So Fyodor III only rules for 5 years, but his death's going to pave the way for a power struggle between Alexei's first wife's family, the Miloslavskis, and wife number two's family, the Narushkins.
Yeah.
So, which we all can agree I definitely was not pronouncing correctly last episode.
And now, would have never pronounced correctly. So
wouldn't have done correctly without Paul anyway. So the Miloslavskis vote for their vote for Tsar is the 15-year-old Ivan, who is the younger brother of Fyodor.
Okay.
By the first wife.
Right. Of course they're going to vote for him because he's blood related. So of course they're going to vote for him.
Exactly. The problem with
the Von,
problem. No.
You just said problem.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew there was going to be a problem.
The problem with the Von is he's mostly blind and disabled both mentally and physically.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but what a winner. My vote is for him only because he's related to me, even though he's blind, mentally, and physically disabled.
Yeah.
Great choice.
But he's a Miloslavsky, so
who cares?
So then the Narushkin support, of course, is for half-brother to Fyodor and Ivan, Peter, who's Peter. Pumpkin eater.
We are too drunk for this. Oh, fun. Awesome.
We're too drunk for Russia. So the Narushkin support is for Peter, who's fit as a fiddle and clever as can be. Only problem is he's 10. So another king baby situation.
Well, that's like half of Fyodor the Third's age, so he's perfect. He's like in prime time.
in late 17th century years, he's doing quite well to have made it to 10. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shit. I mean, shoot.
So, the curse.
Guys, I was trying to be quiet about it. Sorry.
So it's down to the assembly of boyars to pick a czar, as Theodore didn't have time to say, this brother or this brother. So new king kid, because they elect Peter as czar.
Right.
Because if you got a choice, the one that'll be capable of ever making decisions is probably the best choice to choose.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
if you had to pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Catch a Peter by the toe, for sure.
I'm kidding. Oh my God, I'm oh my God, I can't even take this seriously now. Oh my God, okay.
Which that's not the end of it. It's far from the end of it.
It never is.
No, it never is in Russian history, because Peter's and Ivan's sister, well, Peter's half-sister, Ivan's sister, Sophia, has different plans.
Oh my God, I can't believe you just said sister.
Not Tia and Tamara. Different
Not sister, but sister. I can't even say it now.
Sister singular.
Sister, a half sister. So they're all related.
Let's chat about for a second what it was to be a Russian princess born to a czar. So
yeah, because I'm curious, because we haven't talked about many. There really hasn't been many that we've talked about at all.
They haven't mattered until now.
Well, because
to be honest,
honestly, all they've had to do is pop out babies, and that's it. And not just babies, but healthy ones.
Pretty much. But those are czarinas. These are royal princesses. So they weren't permitted to marry because there was no Russian or boyar deemed of sufficient rank in the country to marry the daughter of the God-anointed ruler. And if a foreign prince had deemed a marriage to Russia at this point, a Russian princess, in the interests of their country, which, remember, it really wasn't, because Russia was still very isolated. So it was unlikely that they would want to marry one to form an alliance anyway. It wouldn't have mattered, because no one else was Russian Orthodox or Orthodox. Exactly. So
I was worthy to marry a Russian princess.
Nobody's willing to. And even if they had been willing to, they're not Orthodox, so you can't marry them.
So it was almost like, okay, cool, you're a princess, but what do you have to offer me? Is that, am I right there? Like, is it like, cool, you're a princess, that's awesome, but what else do you got? Right?
What, are you bringing any kind of alliance? I mean, if you're let's say you're an English king, what good is clear across Europe? What good is that against your enemies? What kind of alliance is that going to form you? And even so, Anglican, Catholic, you can't marry that if you're Orthodox, because remember, this was supposed to be the center of Orthodoxy. So they're not going to suffer their princesses converting anyway.
Right.
So instead,
it's kind of like a worthless, waste of time effort. Like, what's the point? Okay,
so they're not getting married off at all. They're left to live in isolation in the palace, because remember, everything was dangerous and sinful for well-born women. They only left the palace for church services, but they had to watch those behind screens.
Correct. They covered up too. Yeah.
So not much to do or enjoy in life if you weren't about family 24/7 or church 24/7 or just being as ladylike as possible 24/7. So they were bored. They were at least educated until 10 years old, but Alexei had allowed Sophia, one of the princesses that was his daughter, who had, basically begged to be further educated with Theodore, to keep going in her education. And thus she was a very, very clever girl.
Well, because she grew up with that whole, family that was very much interested in not only are you going to be pretty, but you're going to be smart too.
Exactly.
So at least she wasn't disabled. She had the beauty and the brains.
That's doing pretty good for this family,
I mean,
actually. So,
because she's
Theodore,
Natalia. Oh my God, I'm saying her name wrong. She's not.
She's a Miloslavsky. She is not a Narushkin.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got them slightly confused again. My bad.
She's
So
a
she's from the
Miloslavsky.
first. She's from the first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when Theodore dies, Sophia sees her chance. If the disabled Ivan is put on the throne, Sophia gets the chance to rule essentially through him because he's not capable of making decisions, and she is really close to Ivan. She gets out of Princess Purgatory and gets a chance to exercise that brain of hers as regent, essentially, ruling for him. Yeah. But the Boyers and the Narushkins poo all over plans when they skip the eldest brother, Ivan, and go to the more capable Peter. But she is a very smart princess, and she's not about to miss her chance. Not without a fight. She's
going to fight it. Yeah, girl.
It wouldn't be Russian history if someone just let it be.
Right. Right.
I mean, I understand a girl's got to try.
Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be.
If only, but again, it wouldn't be Russia if somebody just would.
Yeah, true.
So
we wouldn't have a body count.
We wouldn't have a body count if everybody was just cool about stuff. Luckily, they're not, and we do. So cut to the Streltsy. Now, the Streltsy were a specialized musketeer unit or specialized musketeer units that were the core of the Russian standing army. So that's roughly 22,000 men, making up 26 regiments, and all of them are stationed in Moscow, right?
Okay.
And it just so happened that at this exact moment, there was trouble brewing in the ranks. City.
You got trouble. Trouble
in
River City.
Oh my God. If you do not stop.
Again, if you have not watched Music Man, the musical, you need to. Your life is missing out, on everything. You got trouble. You got trouble here in River City.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So there's trouble brewing in the ranks. Now, the Streltsy colonels had the bad habit of always paying soldiers late, skimming their wages, and sometimes making them work for them personally as the commander's serfs, basically.
Yikes.
So these Streltsy are big heap pissed off to begin with and looking for any reason to go ape shit. Curse.
Well, I mean, but how else are you going to put it?
I mean, yeah, no, there really isn't any other way. So Sophia is going to end up exploiting this. Just as the Narushkin's head man, Matviev, rolls back into town from exile. Because again, the Narushkins think they're safe, right? Peter's the czar. Wrong.
Nobody's safe.
Wrong. Nobody's ever safe in this story. Not one person, ever. So, Sophia and the Miloslavskis start spreading it among the Streltsy, who are pretty much looking for any reason to riot, right? That Tsar Fyodor had in fact been poisoned and that Ivan would soon be murdered. Which, not true. Ivan was actually fine and dandy, But with a wicked game of telephone, the Streltsy take it in their heads that they must rescue Ivan in order to get justice for themselves. So basically, the Miloslavskis are out there spreading rumors. Like, basically, if you don't save Yvonne, you're not going to get any kind of justice.
Wow.
And they also said that the Narishkins were the reason all this bad stuff is happening to them, even though the Miloslavskis had appointed their commanders, you know, but it's the Narishkins' fault, which means rushing the palace and turning on the Narishkins. So the Narishkins...
Not a good idea.
No, they brought both Yvonne and Peter out to see the Streltsy. Like, look, they're both fine, 100% okay. No one's in danger. Can we take these children back to the nursery now?
Because they're like little kids.
But nothing doing. The Streltsy had been mistreated for too long, and they were convinced that the Narishkin were responsible. So... to the riot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like the city of Philadelphia won any sports game. That kind of riot. They flood the palace and start murdering the Narishkins and their supporters. Just anyone, whomever they can find. This wouldn't be Body Count Russian edition if people were just beheaded or stabbed, however.
No. That's not how we roll here at Body Count Russian edition.
Russian edition. We wouldn't tell the story if it was that calm.
Stop what you're doing and go back and you'll understand what we're talking about.
110%, because a body of Streltsy mass in the square, and the Narishkins are hurled off the balcony onto the pikes that they're just catching the bodies with. Oh God. Yeah.
It's like Skewer City. Like it's like a bunch of human-sized skewers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know why I'm laughing. Why am I laughing? Oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable.
They're probably going to burn the bodies, and thank God the town's now made of stone, or else we'd have real trouble. Oh, that's not enough, though. They start dismembering the bodies into teeny tiny little pieces. I don't know. And then stringing the pieces around the courtyard.
Oh my God. Seriously, what is wrong with these people? What is with them in dismembering and stringing up? This is not like popcorn on a string during the holidays. Like, dang. God.
Fucking metal. Like, I can tell you right now, guys, we aren't ready for these people if they ever come for us, because they are just metal. So then... they break into the dining hall where Matviev is talking to Natalia, who has Yvonne and Peter there with her. And while both of the boys are screaming for Matviev, they drag him away from the boys who are clinging to him. And the Streltsy basically hack like the Narishkin's head honcho in pieces in front of the two princes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So basically all of the Narishkin supporters are hacked to pieces in front of these two boys in their plain sight and all around them for 3 days straight. And the victims include 2 of Peter's uncles, personal doctors, his government ministers, about 100 people in all. So 100 of Peter's closest family and friends, but also people that are raising and caring for Yvonne too. Like,
is this like Hanukkah for Russian? Like 3 days of dismembered bodies, like na 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 string, na 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 leg. Like, what the frick is happening right now? Like, these poor kids. Like, what the heck?
I know.
Oh my God.
What they do. It's what they keep doing, and I'm like, no wonder these people are so messed up when they are finally like taking the throne. Oh God. I know.
Oh my God, I can't.
But these aren't people that just matter to Peter. Like, these are people that have been taking care of Yvonne too. Nobody's doing this boy an ill turn. So
No.
they weren't mistreating Yvonne. Like I said, he wasn't even Natalia's son, but she's caring for this poor disabled boy the same as she was caring for her own son, Peter.
And that's the boy from the first marriage.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter in a Russian power struggle. It was the Miloslavskis versus the Naryshkins for control of the government, the future czar. And the Naryshkins, as many as could be tracked down in about that 3-day period, had to be just offed.
Oh my God, like red wedding.
Bit of
Like
a red
total...
wedding sitch. You're exactly right.
Oh my God, I think I'm going to throw up. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously, this is insane.
I kind of do, but I don't know that it's
I'm just
necessarily
gonna drink
related
my
to
drink.
this.
No.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my God.
this event would traumatize Peter, understandably.
You think?
Haunted him for the rest of his life, but they fucked up because Peter would never forget it or forgive it. And there's some hashtag Freddy foreshadowing there. Also,
Yeah,
curse.
there is. Well,
Curse.
wait, what did you say? Oh, you said the F word. Okay. Sorry, I didn't even notice. Whoops.
Oh, all right, guys. We're going to have to end this episode there. It's going to end up going longer than we intended. We're going to pick back up next week with the remainder of the story of Sophia, Yvonne, and Peter. And then this horrible series will be over once we finish up Peter the Great. So we will see you guys all back here next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.